Hey everybody, Brandy Rude with Smoky Mountain Stamping. Getting ready to do a little crafting on the fly. This was supposed to be Wow Wednesday, but it's Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. You can tell that's probably a sign of how things are going to go. But I'm just going to wait just a few seconds here for some folks to get on for it to pop up in people's feed. Just talk to you a little bit about some things that are going up in Stampin' Up! World. We have the January to June mini catalog still going on. This is good until June, and so don't forget about that. Lots of really great stamp sets, bundles, embellishments, but those will all be gone in June. The other thing is they've kind of changed our catalog schedule this year, and they're kind of transitioning to a new catalog schedule. So our new annual catalog will be coming out in May instead of June this year. So, hey Brenda, how you doing? So don't forget about that. So things like our in colors, let me show you those. Let's see. I'll just pull these out here. So our in colors are on 2-year rotation. We get new in colors every year, but then they're on a 2-year rotation. So these have been with us for 2 years, and they are retiring. So we have Purple Posy, we have Terracotta Tile, Pretty Peacock, which is one of my favorite colors. I love this color. As you can see, like, it's a little darker than what my wall is, but I love this one. Seaside Spray, and sorry, they just fell. Rococo Rose. So those colors are going to be retiring. We'll get 5 new colors with the new annual catalog, and those will be revealed about a month and a half, I guess. So that's going to be exciting to get some new colors in. And so you want to make sure that if you like these colors, you want to stock up on them. You better get that work done, Brenda. That's important stuff. But you want to stock up on these colors. You want to, if you have the ink pads, you really need to get the re-inkers so that you will have these ready. Extra packs of paper if you need the papers. Markers, you can get the pack of markers. I gotta sit here and put these back in order. Okay, it's one thing I love about having my ink pads stored this way. This is Stampin' Up! Storage also, but I have my ink pads, I have my markers with them, and they fit perfectly in this little thing that I've got here, and I have my Stampin' Blends are all over there. So, it's nice to be able to just reach back and grab what I need for that. So, so going back to the in colors, make sure you get those. Now the other colors we have, the Magenta Madness, Bumblebee, Just Jade, Misty Moonlight, and Cinnamon Cider, those will be good for 1 more year, and then they'll retire and we'll get new colors. So this is just their first year. They're just babies in the Stampin' Up! World right now. So anyway, so tonight I'm going to stamp with the Pretty Perrenials stamp set. And as you might guess, what I had planned on doing, my equipment's not working, and so I decided instead of trying to keep fighting with it, I was just going to do something different. And so I have not planned. I have in my mind what we're going to do, but I haven't made a card yet. So we'll see how this turns out. It could be a huge failure, or it could be a great success. We'll just see. But this is the Pretty Perrenials stamp set. It's in the January to June mini catalog. And I love it. Especially love this little happy phrase, because you can, sending lots of happy birthday, happy for you. I think it says happy for you. Or you make me happy. Make a happy for you, happy mail, all those things you can put in there. Pretty cool. So it also has, there is a die bundle that goes with it. So you could die cut these images out if you want. But we're not going to do that tonight. We're going to keep it simple. And we're gonna work on making our own designer series paper. So if you don't have any designer series paper, that's okay, because you can just make it yourself with your own stamps and ink pads. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera down, and so give me just a second. Be patient with me while I get this adjusted. Hopefully it won't be too miserable for you. And I do this every time I have my camera in here backwards, so I'm trying to reach on it and not make it too terrible. So let's see. It's here. This is so much fun. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get it pulled back just a little bit. I can still see your comments, so that's good. All right. There we go. That's not terrible. So these are the 4 colors that I picked because they're bright and they're really happy, and I need some happy. So that's what I'm going to use. And what I'm going to start off with is, move these up here a little bit. I'm going to start off with 1 whole sheet of Whisper White cardstock. This is Whisper White. I don't have my basic white out yet because I'm still trying to work through all of my Whisper White before I break into my new basic white. But what I'm going to do is, and I think I'm going to get a piece of grid paper to put under this. That didn't sound good, did it? But I love the grid paper because it really keeps my workspace clean. The other thing I like about it is it has rulers on it, so I can, when I'm working on projects and I need to know what size something is, I can use the ruler that's down here, but also keeps my surface clean. So what I'm going to do with this is I am going to start by just randomly stamping all over this piece of cardstock. And so this stamp set is photopolymer, and this is also, I believe it's one of our distinctive sets. It's got a lot of dimension shading already built into it, so it's just one stamp. You don't have to do the 2-step stamping to get that dimension, so that's kind of cool. I think I'm going to do my big flowers in Melon Mambo, and so I typically start with my biggest flower first, and I'm going to just stamp on my grid paper to make sure that I'm getting a good image. I might need to put a little bit of ink on my ink pad. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'm going to ink up a little bit. It's a little bit dry. So I have my re-inkers back here in alphabetical order, so I'm trying to find it. There it is, Melon Mambo. So if you've never re-inked one of our ink pads, this is a good little thing. This is our re-inker, and I just take it and just kind of swish it. I don't put a ton on here. I don't want to super soak it. And then I'll kind of just come back through here real quickly with in the other direction. And that's really all there is to it. Now typically I would probably let this sit just a little while before I used it, but we're going to roll the dice here and see how it goes. But I just felt like it was just a little, not quite juicy enough. Oh yeah, well it's probably going to be a little too juicy, but that's okay. Feast or famine, right? But if you ever feel like it's too much, you can always stamp off one time and then stamp. So that's good. I'm okay with that. And as it sits here, it's going to soak in a little bit more. Now I just kind of randomly stamp all over my paper. One thing I always make sure is that I stamp off my cardstock so that I don't make everything look like it's shrunk into the paper. So just kind of, now I'm gonna, since I'm not sure how much is gonna but with all the things I'm doing, since I haven't laid this out yet, I'm not gonna try to go too much into that. So let me see here. So now I'm gonna pick up my Mango Melody and start filling in with some smaller flowers. Let's see. And hopefully you'll see it start coming together. Now Now these aren't stamped. When you look at this, it's not stamping like always a full image, just because it's got some shading already built into this stamp so that you don't have to worry about that. And that's all I'm going to do with those for now. I'm going to come in with my, let's go ahead and do some leaves first. I'm going to get Granny Apple Green and come in and fill in some leaves. And you notice I'm not really spending a lot of time trying to line things up. You don't have to do that. You can just make it random. The more random, the better, I think. So when you start filling in, then it kind of starts coming together a little bit more. Fill in these leaves. All right. So what we're going to do is, after we stamp this entire sheet, let me go back over that one real quick. I missed a little bit there. I'm going to cut this into strips so that I can make multiple cards out of this piece that we're making. All right. Whoops, I missed it again. All right. I think this one needs a few. Well, I keep getting a little, there we go, a little sideways on that. All right, so now I need to fill in. I'm going to come in with my Bermuda Bay and then start filling in a little bit more. And I'm going to do this little tiny flower. I like that one. All right. So again, this stamp set is available in the January to June catalog, and I'm not sure, we don't know yet if it'll carry over into the new catalog. So we will find that out probably towards the, I think in March we find out what's going to be carrying over. Okay, I'm trying to look at this and see. I think that's pretty good for that. So January to June, and then hopefully, I hope this is one that'll carry over because I love it. I'm going to come in with this little stamp. It's got, this is just lines. It's not filled in. And so I think I'm going to pull in, let's see. We can go back over on the Bermuda Bay. This is one, this is kind of like a two-step stamping. And so when you stamp back over it, you're going to get some detailed lines there. And you don't have to stamp it exactly straight, so don't worry about that. It'll kind of, it looks more artsy, I think, when you actually misalign it a little bit sometimes. All right, I like that. Working good. Oh, cool, Brenda. That sounds good. Let's see. I'm trying to figure, I need a little bit of filler here, and I'm just trying to figure out which one I'm going to use to fill in. I think I'm going to use this little branch. And I think it's a good thing I have a lot of blocks, because I got all my blocks going up right now. I think I'm going to pull in some, what color do I want to pull in? I think I may do some Pear Pizzazz to fill in here. Because you don't want to have a ton of white space hanging out. I'm not super sure if I like that or not, but I'm going to go with it because when we cut it down into pieces, it may work out. Like I said, this is one of those days that there's no telling what's going to happen with this. My whole original plan for this little stamping event just totally went down the drain, so we are crafting on the fly. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that, but I am going to come through here and just do a little bit of speckles. Now, I've stamped this really fast, and I've kind of gotten a little messy. I don't usually do this messy. I'm kind of irritated with myself a little bit. There's a couple places where it is just a little bit splotchier than I would want, and I'm going to come in with Wink of Stella, because Wink of Stella will kind of reactivate that ink. Plus it also adds just a little bit of sparkle, which I love. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm going to make it sparkle at some point. So I'm just going to come in here with Wink of Stella on just my big flowers, I think, for now. This one is almost dry, so never fear. I've got 3 of them sitting here, so there is never a shortage of Wink of Stella on my stamping desk here. Hey Angie, good to see you. Got a few people popping on here. Leave me a comment if you're watching. So that Wink of Stella just kind of brings those things together where it just didn't quite, where I was stamping a little bit fast and a little bit crazy. Plus where I re-inked this Melon Mambo, it got super dark in a few places. So again, I really wouldn't normally re-ink and then go ahead and use it immediately, but I really wanted to use the Melon Mambo because it is one of my favorite colors. I also find it easier, like when I'm doing all this, to do my, yeah, Angie, it's been too long. When I'm doing making my own designer series paper, I want to do everything to this, and then I'm going to cut it. And then it'll be ready to go. I think I'm going to come in, now that I'm looking at it, I'm going to add some centers to these little flowers. And what do y'all think? What color do you think we should go for on those little centers? If you're watching, yell out a color. Hey, Ginger. Yes, Ginger, this is, you recommended several times that I show folks how to do this. So for the center on the Melon Mambo flowers, what color do you think? I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking. I think maybe Melon Mambo, really. I think a yellow center would be, or an orangey yellow center would be pretty. So we'll see. But I just think it needs a little something there. Oh yeah, that's better. And I love how fast you can do this, and then you'll see what I'm going to do with it in just a sec. All right, I think that's good. And I think I'm also going to go ahead and add some of the detail stamping to the leaves. So, grab another. Got to make sure, sometimes I put the blocks on upside down. Well, that doesn't, that doesn't work out very well when you do that, just saying. All right, let's see if we can add some detail onto here. Oh yeah, there we go. So let me know if you have done this before. If you've done this and you have samples of things, post them in the comments. We'd love to see what you've done, how you use this in your cards. I know, Ginger, you've probably done this. Turn this around here. Again, I hope this is reassuring you that you don't have to sit here and just labor over getting these lined up, because it really is not necessary for that. So, all right, now the last thing I'm going to do is just add a little bit of speckling, I guess. I like to do that just because there's still a little bit of white space, that a little bit more than I normally like. So, never mind that. That was just my webcam crashing. So I'm going to take my black marker. You've seen me do this before if you've watched any, and I just take the brush end tip and I open the cap and I just kind of give it a little flick here and there. And let's see. And so I don't know if you can see it. I'll hold it up to the camera. The harder you flick it, the more ink that's going to come out. And I have one of these markers that is just dedicated for this purpose, because it does kind of tear up your brush tip, but it does kind of just fill in a little bit. So here is our paper. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit for just a second, and I am going to come over here on these. A couple of these little flowers are just a little splotchy, So just bring in a little wink of Stella, and it will just kind of bring it together a little bit. This is not super smart to do right after doing all that splotchy, because I could make that black bleed a little bit, but hopefully I'm going to steer clear of it. All right, there we go. All right, now I need to get my paper trimmer out, and I'm going to get these cut into strips to use. And so I got my Stampin' Up! Trimmer. Now remember, you've got a scoring blade and a cutting blade. And so the light colored one is your scoring, and the dark one is your cutting. And let's see, I'm going to cut this down to 5.5 because it's a half, that's the part of a card size. And then I'm going to cut this into, let's see, I think, I have to do the math on here. Let me go ahead and do it 4.25. I have to think about this. Whoops, that was scoring. There we go. So I'm going to cut this into 2 strips, and I think it is 2. So 4.25 is 2 1/8. Yep, there we go. So this is what my strips end up looking like. So it's a little bit different. Okay, so 4.25, or so I cut it down to 2 1/8. So no 2 pieces are going to look the same. Let's see here, 4.25. One thing about making cards, you will get to be good at fractions if you do it long enough. And then I will show you the cards that I'm going to make and how fast and easy these cards will come together. Okay, so now I've got, from that one big piece of paper, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panels. Now I could always go back in if I feel like there's not enough here. I could always go back in and add a little more stamping if I want to. So I'm gonna have to keep my paper trimmer out. So I'm gonna get a piece of thick Whisper White or basic white cardstock, and I'm going to cut that in half. So that's gonna be at 5.5, and then I'm gonna go ahead and score it at 4.25. Get my cutting blade out of the way and then score. So I have that. And now I'm going to pick an accent color. I'm going to get my bone folder out here to do a little accent, I guess. I think I'm going to use, since it's my favorite, I'm going to use Melon Mamba. So I'm going to grab a scrap of that. I hope. Yeah. So I've got a little scrap here. I want to see. That's probably not going to be, that's not going to work. It's got a crease in it. Okay. Here's a scrap. So, I need it to be, this is 5.5, so I want it to be just about 3/4 of an inch. I don't need a huge piece, and this is also kind of a paper saving technique also, because you don't have to use a full piece on there. I think that may be all I need that for. My bone folder is AWOL. So, well, that's okay, Ginger. Once I get the once this video posts, you should be able to add a picture in the comment. We'll see. If not, we can just start a new post and have everybody do it. So I'm going to use this piece here, and then I'm going to have, I think I'm going to go over this way with it and just have it like that. There we go. And I think I'm actually going to orient this card this way. I think so. Now you could do another piece down here if you wanted to have that I can't think, Melon Mambo on both sides. You could totally do that. Hey Connie, how are you doing? All right, so let's get this put together. I'm going to take my multi-purpose glue because it does give you a little bit of working time. And so since this is going to be a little bit, I want to make sure I get it just the way I want it. So and so I'm just kind of eyeballing it to make sure it looks like it's even over here. So I'm going to do that. Okay, I think I'm good with that. And now I'm going to put this to the front of the card. And I've always remind you this glue is super duper sticky, so you don't need a lot, and you don't want to get it too close to the edge because you definitely don't want it squeezing out. Now I'm trying to think how I want to do it. I don't know. I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to go with the original plan. There we go. And you know what? I just don't see I don't see any wink of Stella on this little flower here, so we're going to have to fix that. There we go. And now you could do a whole set of cards and do each card could have a different accent piece. It's just a little bit crooked. I'm going to have to let that go and not get too worked up about it. And so now I can see it's hanging over just a little bit, so if I turn it upside down, I can lay my scissors flat against the card and just trim that little excess off. But this is a great way to saves a little bit of money on your card making. You make your own DSP. There we go. And it's super easy, super fun. And you can make a whole stack of cards. I think I remember I said we got 8 panels out of this, so you can make a set of 8 cards and you'd be ready to go. So let me put my happy on here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp it in Melon Mambo. Just to kind of stick with all of that coordination. Let me see how this is doing. Okay. See, it's had time to, that ink has had time to settle in there, and it's not nearly as gushy and crazy as it was. All right. All right, so there is that. And now I want to add, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add birthday. And find it. And again, I'm just kind of, I'm totally doing this like I don't have a plan. I think I'm going to pull out the Bermuda Bay. And I've got, you remember I told you I keep my scraps and I keep my little die cut pieces, but I really just need a little scrap for this, I think, the way I'm going to do it. And so I'm going to stamp birthday here. This is a perfect size, actually. There we go. Take my scissors and just trim that. And then take a dimensional. I think maybe I'll probably need a mini dimensional for these, if I can find them. Nope. Okay, I'm just going to take these and trim it. It's a little bit skinny, so I don't want to get one that's too big, so I'm just going to use these guys. Because I use every last dimensional on this piece of paper, I'm telling you. Alright, yeah, that's perfect. And then just peel that backing off. Let's see. I'm just going to do it right there. So there we go. Let me know what you think. Now, like I said, you could totally add another piece of Melon Mambo on this side here. We could pick out different colors, and I probably should add some rhinestones because there's no rhinestones on here, and I'm not sure that I would know what to do if I had a card that did not have rhinestones on it. So let me see if I can find them. I actually have to open a new pack because I've been using them. like crazy. I've been making lots of cards. During celebration, we had several people join our team, so that was excellent. And so I've been making cards to send out to them. So let me see here. Let's just, I'm going to pop a couple of these over here, and then just to fill in around up here. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's good. Not that you can have too many, but you don't want to overdo it, right? So there we go. And I could easily make 8 more cards, and they're all going to be just a little bit different. And I could pull out the Mango Melody right there. I could pull out the Bermuda Bay and have a different strip, have a different, I could say, you know, sending lots of happy. We could make, every card could be just a little bit different. And so that's just making your own, what we call designer series paper, but cut it down into 8 pieces. And I will put the measurements after this video posts. I will put the measurements up there for you. Hey, Taylor May. I'm so glad you're watching. I can't wait for you to give me some pointers when I'm done. So anyway, I hope you like that. This was, again, Wow Wednesday on Thursday. So hope that is helpful. Just some tips on how you can use your materials to get more bang for your buck. I think it's a lot of fun. Once you get a few ink pads built up and get some cardstock, you know, and this is mainly white cardstock. And again, I save my scraps so that I can do things like this. This is just a 3/4 inch strip of cardstock, and so even those little pieces add up. You can totally get use out of those. So don't forget to save those. I keep mine organized by color families. Some people actually do an envelope for each color, but I just have a drawer for each color family, and then I have a little sticker on the front of the drawer that shows me what color family is in each drawer. So that's the way I organize mine. Just do whatever works best for you, though. So if you have any questions about how to do this card, or any other questions, if I can help you with anything, I would love to be your demonstrator and help you out. And I look forward to stamping with you again next Thursday. I will talk to you then. Bye. I mean, next Wednesday. It's Wow Wednesday, not Thursday normally. So, oh my goodness, I'm ready for spring break, y'all. It's got to get here fast. So I will talk to you guys later. Thanks. Have a good night.